You know what they say. Every rose has a woman that they're trying to desperately murder to win a war in a techno-apocalypse. I'm almost positive that's the exact phrase and lore of the Yuri of Sky Strikers. Whatever, we're playing Sky Strikers. Let's do this. Hello folks, I'm the Ghost with Knife, and welcome back to more Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and as you saw in the intro today, we're playing Sky Strikers. Now I know some of you are going to go, oh this is cool, so you're doing this for the 3rd anniversary event, right? You mean the 3rd anniversary event that I didn't know that was coming? With all the brand, well, like 3 brand new alt arts and the cool new Hayate, or maybe the really awesome looking new Shizuku, or maybe the returning alt arts and the Kagari, or the returning alt art in the Engage, or the alt art Rhoda they have. Or, you know, the brand new bundle that has a new board and sleeves, and it also has a deck box, and it comes with a bunch of packs so you can try to get these. And there's even a mate that we could have gotten with this? You mean the Sky Striker deck that I built 3 days before the update for the 3rd anniversary dropped? So I don't have any of that? I might be a little upset. Anyways, basically I wanted to play Sky Strikers at the worst possible time, so I built this deck. Now don't worry, I am going to be getting the board and all that to showcase it, and we're going to be revisiting Sky Striker in the future, minor spoiler, but I just mainly wanted to try the deck. It's been something I've eyed for a while, because it's kind of an interesting deck. It's a control deck that does like link stuff, but not like typical link things where you're just kind of linking into nothing. It's hard to explain, but I'm going to do my best to here. So the main monster of Sky Strikers is going to be Sky Striker Ray. She's pretty much the only monster we're going to summon, as well as Rose. Just a nice one-of to have every now and then. Basically, if we special summon any Sky Striker Ace monster, we can play her, which is going to be most of our link monsters, because Sky Strikers want to use their 1 card to link into typically Kagari to put one of our spells back into our hand, because the main driving force of the Sky Strikers is their spell cards, because I believe literally none of them are once per turn. So if you engage to tutor a card, you can summon Kagari, put the engage back into our hand, and tutor another card in it. And the main thing about the Sky Strikers is that if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, they have an additional effect. So engage, we can tutor something and draw a card. Widow Anchor allows us to negate a monster effect and steal it, which is very powerful. Short Cannon can banish stuff from the graveyard and steal that as well, which is pretty sick. Linkage doesn't do anything if we have 3 or more spells, but it does allow us to kind of OTK our opponent. There's also Hornet Drones, which doesn't do much except give us a few extra stats, which is like kind of nice, but it's just another way of getting into our link monsters. And then there's multi-roll and afterburners. Afterburners lets us pop our opponent's monster, and if we have 3 more spells, we can pop a spell or trap as well. And multi-roll allows us to reset Sky Striker cards based off the number that we use that turn, so we can use them again to try and get more value. The main game plan of Sky Strikers is to basically try and grind your opponent out of the game with your really powerful spells. Typically, you want to go second with it, and you want to link into, you want to play Ray, attack with her, link into Hayate, which can attack directly, pitch a spell. Then in main phase 2, you go Kagari to grab that spell back. Most of the time it's going to be engage, so that way we can get a little bit more value. And then from there, you want to go into Shizuku to tutor another card so you can have follow-up. It's going to be kind of a grindy game with this deck, which is fine. I definitely don't mind playing grindy decks. I've played Trap Tricks, and I guess Shining Sark to a degree is kind of grindy. I've played slow decks, I've played burn decks, so I'm definitely used to a more control-oriented deck. Outside of our Sky Striker cards, we have some fun cards. I've got Cup of Ace. It's basically Pot of Greed. Rhoda is kind of an important card because it gives us an array, which makes our plays. We've got a Heavy Storm and a Duster for back row. I have 2 copies of Lightning Storm just because it's a very powerful card. 1 Raigeki just because it's a good spell for breaking boards. 3 Imperms because it's almost mandatory. I put in Barrier because at the time Tenpai was really popular and it hadn't been nerfed. This is really good into Tenpai. It's a card you can probably easily take out and add in like another Raigeki or another Nibiru for more control options. We have Triple Tactics Thrust to go ahead and try to grab some more stuff, and 1 Talons because I only have 1, which allows us to draw cards, take monsters. This is a really powerful card. Called by is almost mandatory, and Cosmic Cyclone for more spell trap removal. Our Link deck is going to be just a bunch of Sky Strikers. Kagari you have to have 3 of. Most people run 2 Shizukus. I have 3 because I just think it's that much of an important card as well. 2 Hiates to help get our plays online and potentially finish our opponent. Kinda isn't the most important Sky Striker, but you can do some fun things with her. There's Zeke, which is a little bit of removal and part of our OTK package. And we also have a Camellia, which can, like, kind of take our opponent's monsters from the graveyard and special summon them so we can go to our Link plays to something like Zeke, or maybe even Azalea, who acts as more removal, which we can use with both Ray and Rose. And we have a Little Knight because it's a really easy card for us to go into, very powerful card too. We also have Access Code Talker. We will almost virtually never summon this monster, but hey, it's nice to have if you can get into those lines. We also have a Sky Striker Ace Azalea Temperance. Most people don't play this, but I like this as just a way of stealing our opponent's monsters and beating our opponent's face in with this. Anyways, that's Sky Striker, a spell-oriented control deck. How can it do on the ladder? Let's find out. Right, getting into our first game here, we've got an interesting hand going second. We've got Ray, so we can set up our actual Sky Striker stuff. We've got Engage, draw more cards. Shark Cannon to try to steal some of our opponent's stuff from the graveyard, and Feather Duster, which is pretty nice. One thing to note about the Sky Strikers is that they're not too combo heavy. You'll be doing quite a lot of Link summoning, but that's about it. But hey, this is also a great time to see the brand new Jin Zone made. Look at him. Denying traps left and right, which is funny because we're a spell-based deck. So let's go ahead and get into it. You will notice I also have a 13 card extra deck. For some reason, I just wasn't paying attention to this, and I have 13 cards in my extra deck for a little bit. Let's move on from this. Our opponent's going first. They're going to be dropping a face-down card and passing, which is very intimidating. This is just an opportunity to show off the combo, though. Harpy's Feather Duster is going to go ahead and pop that back row. Get that nonsense out of here. It's a Super Poly, which is terrifying. Well, not really for us, because we don't really have more than 1 monster on the board at a time, so Super Poly doesn't really do much to Sky Strikers. We're going to use Ray's Effect to go ahead and special summon a monster. I'm going to Ash Blossom the Maxi. Now, I did this incorrectly. What I should have done is I should have gone into combat, gotten the 1500 in, and then used her to Link Summon into Hayate to ditch a card into the graveyard. It's just one of the many things you can do with Sky Strikers. Fill up your graveyard for your spells so your Sky Striker cards have more power. But yeah, live and learn. That's just how Sky Strikers work. This is a deck that I'm still very much experimenting with. We're going to go into a Hayate, and our opponent is going to scoop it up. Their Super Poly doesn't do anything, Maxi doesn't do anything, and they're going to rage quit like Jinzo over there. Alright, folks, getting into our next game here with Sky Strikers. We're going second again, which is not that bad. Sky Strikers kind of like to go second so they can start swinging away. Going first isn't crippling for them, but it does kind of hurt what they can do if you don't have Widow Anchor. But we do have the multi-roll in hand, so that's going to be kind of nice. We do have Rhoda. We're going to try to use the Lightning Storm to pop their back row, get that nonsense out of here. It's going to be evenly matched. Oh my gosh, that would have been kind of scary. We're going to Rhoda, trying to bait Nash. They do indeed Ash this Rhoda, which is perfect because we have Ray and Rose in our hand. So we're going to need none of this nonsense. We're going to go ahead and go into the Ray. I'm going to Link Summon with the Rose as well. Go into combat, swing away with both of them. We're going to use Ray's Effect, get rid of her. Bring out a Yate. Use Hayate to ditch a spell into our graveyard, which is going to be the Engage. I believe this was a mistake. Actually, no, it's not, because I can use Hayate to go into Kagari to put the Engage back into my hand, which we're going to go ahead and do. We can't get the full value off of it because we only have 2 spells in grave. I'm going to use multi-roll, though. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and put the Rose into my graveyard so I can activate my Engage, which is going to grab me the Widow Anchor, which is my negate. I'm also going to link off Kagari to put another card in hand so I have follow-up, which is going to be Shizuku. I didn't know Shizuku got an animation. She didn't have an animation until the new 3rd anniversary stuff, so that's the first time I actually saw the animation, which is kind of nice. Anyways, we're going to set the Widow Anchor in the Called by the Grave into the graveyard. We're going to go ahead and set the Engage with the multi-roll, which allows us to use it again. Basically, we're going to draw into an Afterburners, so we can try to pop a spell and a monster on their board. And our opponent just sees the writing on the wall. They're like, nope, too much Sky Striker nonsense. I don't want to deal with the grind game. Getting into our next game here, we are yet again going first. Our opponent has chosen it this time, though. We've got a absolutely gangster hand. Cup of Ace and Nibiru are awesome. Engage is good too. Called by can do some work in a Ray so we can make our plays. Our opponent is going to be using Fusion Deployment. Oh, it's branded. They're grabbing a Looper so they can grab their branded Fusion. Yeah, there's not much I can do in this situation. Our opponent's going to go ahead and use the branded Fusion to go ahead into their nonsense. Whoa, 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 wait a minute. That's not the right card. Hold on. Wait, no. No, you're supposed to go into this one. Which lets you go into Lubellion. What is happening? That's not. Okay. Titaniclad. We're gonna pitch Bestial Lubellion. Summon back Bestial Lubellion. I am very confused. We get it, the branded regained. Okay. Fusion summoning with a Looper and Cartesia. Enter Grand Guiganol. I mean, okay. Get Quem. Pitch branded in High Spirits. Put it back. Cartesia's going back. Not gonna lie, this is the weirdest game against branded I have ever seen. Normally they go into Mirror Jade first, but I guess my opponent just really didn't want to with their branded deck. Maybe they don't have Mirror Jade. I'm not sure. They're gonna go ahead and max CS here, which I'm going to immediately call by that nonsense. Get the hell out of my face. We couldn't Nibiru because they just didn't summon enough monsters, which is... Oh, no, wait, no. They summoned all their monsters during the end phase. And you can't Nibiru during the end phase, which is something that I was pissed off about. Anyways, we're gonna Cup of Ace. Be based. Hit the Cup of Ace. It's just Pot of Greed. Who cares? Do it again. I'm just that good at the card game. Why not? And now we have an incredibly stacked hand. We have we have 3 spells engraved. So our Engage and our Widow Anchors are fully online. We can use the Widow Anchor to try to grab one of their monsters. Engage is going to get us some more cards. We're going to go ahead and use the Cosmic Cyclone to go ahead and fill our graveyard even more. We're going to go ahead and get rid of the branded Regained. We're going to use Widow Anchor. Actually, we're going to use both Widow Anchors because they're not once per turn. I just realized that. Let's go ahead and just steal all their monsters. Why not? We take Gringwinol, take Quem, because I think they have a quick effect for that nonsense. Go ahead and get rid of both of these cards and link them off into our XP Little Knight, which we're going to use to banish the Lubellion. No, we're going to be banishing Grand Guiganol, because I think they can bring it back from the graveyard or some nonsense was my idea. We're going to try to engage here. They're going to Ash Blossom us. We are going to immediately use Little Knight to clear Lubellion and Little Knight off the board. So they might stop the Ash, but we can get it back with our plays. We're going to use Ray. I'm going to go ahead and use Ray's effect. I could have walked over the kit with it. I just wasn't thinking. Our opponent is going to... We're going to attack into the kit with Hayate, even though it can attack directly. Again, this is just a misplay. What I should have done is I should have used Ray to attack into it, summon out Hayate, gotten a little bit of damage off. Whatever. We got there in the end. We're same result, but they have more life points. We're going to go ahead and go into the Kagari, which is going to start off all of our chain of stuff, and the branded player just sees the writing on the wall. They know they're about to get grinded out, and they scoop it up. I've chosen to go second in this game. It's kind of a theme with Sky Strikers. They generally want to go second. You can win going first, it's going to be a lot harder. Our opponent is going to be using Charge of the Light Brigade to pitch Punishment and Red Eyes Fusion. No Dragoon for you, buddy. They're going to go to their Punishment, go ahead and go into Weiss. Use Weiss's effect to put the Wolf on top of their deck so they can go ahead and play Weiss, mill the Wolf, and a Lightsworn Dragonling, which we can't really do anything about. So we're just going to let our opponent kind of pop off here. Imperm is a powerful card, but you have to find the right target for it. And Weiss, I don't think I could have done anything about. Anyways, our opponent's going to use Wolf and Weiss to synchro into the Draco Berserker of the Tenyi and just stop their combo there. I guess because they lost Dragoon, they couldn't really go into too much. It's okay. We can go ahead and just take that Draco Berserker out. Just going to go ahead and pop it with Afterburners. From there, we're going to go ahead and use the Shark Cannon to banish their Punishment Dragon. and I can't really do anything from here, so what I'm going to do is set an Impermanent Mecha and a Widow Anchor and pass, and just hope that's enough. Our opponent is going to immediately go into end phase, nothing to negate, which is fine. We like playing the slow game. We do finally draw into Ray. Ray is going to go ahead and start our nonsense. We attack, use her ability, go into Hayate yet again. Actually, we're going into Tagari this time. I believe the idea was that I wanted to grab Shark Cannon again, that's why. So we're going to go ahead and go into the Shark Cannon because I really want to have access to a Banish, because Lightsworn really likes to have a bunch of different names in their graveyard, and if I can get rid of one of their names, I'm going to. We're going to go back into Shizuku, which is going to grab us another card. I'm going to set the Shark Cannon so I have another access to more graveyard banishment. They're going to Ash Blossom our Shizuku. Not the worst thing in the world. And we're going to go ahead and pass it off to our opponent. And this is typically how Sky Striker games go once you get past those first 2 turns and they don't quit. It's a very long and grindy game where you're just beating them down, essentially with one Link monster at a time. Unless you have linkage. Our opponent's going to use Charge with Light Brigade, ditch some cards. I'm going to go ahead and use the Shark Cannon to target the Lightsworn Dragonling. And the idea behind this play is that since it's still in the chain, Dragonling can't proc because it's still in the graveyard. So if I Shark Cannon it, it will never have finished hitting the graveyard at the end of the chain, so it can't proc for the graveyard effect. They're going to go ahead and grab a Lightsworn Dragonling, and as you can see, they get no value out of it. They just get something from the trap, which is fine. They do have a Dragonling in hand, though, which kind of hurts, but whatever. We're going to go into Imperm the Lightsworn Dragonling. Stop their nonsense. I don't want anything else from you, please. No, thank you. So our opponent is going to have their Lightsworn Dragonling stopped, and the turn is going to end, and from this position we can do some really silly things. I do have a Heavy Storm and a Triple Tactics, so I'm going to go ahead and Heavy Storm here, because I don't care if we lose our card. Our opponent is going to try to use the Trap to get rid of, or they're using the Trap to negate Shizuku's effect, which we don't care about. I'm going to go ahead and link off the Shizuku into Hayate. Swing into them with Hayate. I'm going to go ahead and ditch the Engage, which I'm going to try to bring back with Kagari. Yet again, Kagari comes back. Go ahead and grab the Engage again so we can use it on our turn to go ahead and get a few more cards, this is going to allow us to search up the Widow Anchor, which is very powerful in this situation, and draw a card, which is another Engage, which guess what? It's not once per turn. Now we get multi-roll, so we can basically just set up a very powerful board. We're going to go ahead and grab Afterburners with this. Actually, no, we grab multi-roll, draw into Afterburners, use Afterburners to pop the Dragonling, which is going to get them a monster. We don't really care at this point. I have a Widow Anchor. They did activate a monster effect, so I'm going to go ahead and use Triple Tactics Thrust. Accidentally set my Engage because I forget how Thrust works, and it sets it on the board. It doesn't put it in my hand, because, you know, I'm bad at the card game, but we're going to set the Widow Anchor and pass, and from here we're going to go and get the Shark Cannon back so we can get rid of more cards out of their graveyard, and then we're going to grab the Hornet Drones just for follow-up in case something happens. If we lose our monster, we can go ahead and use this to go back into our Link monsters. Our opponent is going to Raigeki our board, so I'm really glad I grabbed that Hornet Drone now. And then from Raigeki, my opponent scoops it up. I guess they just couldn't keep going after that point. They just wanted to get revenge on Shizuku. Right, folks. I have chosen to go first this time. I think this was a mistake going into this. I think I misclicked, but it's whatever. We can show you what we can do going first with a pretty funny hand. Engage, Cup of Ace, Raigeki called by, why not? We're going to go into a Cup of Ace. Our opponent's going to draw 2 because, you know, why not? Why shouldn't I suffer? We're going to go and use the Engage to try to grab our Ray, so we can try to make some of our plays here. Summon the Ray. Link off Ray for Kagari, put the Engage back into my hand, go ahead and fetch another card into our hand, give us a little bit more utility. Basically, we're going to use the Engage here to grab the Widow Anchor. Then I don't grab the Royal because I'm dumb and bad at the card game. I'm going to go ahead and link off the Kagari to go into Shizuku, so we can put another card into our hand. We're going to set a Cult by, a Widow Anchor, and a Linkage and pass, grab into the Afterburners. I'm not going to lie. Grabbing Afterburners from Raigeki is a bit weird, but if they said one monster and one spell trap, I can pop the spell trap and the monster with Afterburners. It's the main thought process behind this. They're going to battle phase evenly matched, and I just wasn't thinking when I did this. I thought, oh, if I linkage this, then there'll be less cards on the board, even though less linkage will stay on the board for evenly matched. So I just kind of screw myself here. My opponents, this evenly match is actually going to really hurt, because they're going to banish my spells, which is awful because I need those in the graveyard. We're going to go and lose our linkage, and our opponent is on Tastina. Excuse me? I've only seen MBT play this deck. So basically they want to flip our stuff face down and get value out of it, which is funny because we have a bunch of Link monsters. Our opponent's going to use the Sentinel. We're going to go and just Widow Anchor this nonsense. I don't get full value out of it. It's fine, whatever. Our opponent can't do too much from this position, though. They're going to go ahead and play a spell, which is going to let them special summon a monster, using Crystal God and the Demigod to go into the Divinity that defies darkness, and then set 2 and pass. It's not looking too good for your Sky Striker player here, but it's fine. We have 2 Afterburners. Try to get some nonsense out of here. I'm going to use Raigeki to try to see if there's some sort of negate or something. They're going to use Embrace of the Tistina, which does nothing. And because I can't really do anything with this hand, our opponent's going to bring a monster back. We're going to use the Afterburners to pop the Tistina and the field spell. It seemed like it was the most appropriate thing to do was get rid of it. They're going to special summon a Crystal God Tistina, and I'm going to yet again Afterburners, popping their mystery card, which was a heavy Stormcaster, which is terrifying. I mean, not really terrifying for my deck because we are basically like 1-use spells and then we're done. So whatever. We probably should have gotten rid of the other face down. They're going to use the field spell to put a card in the graveyard, set a card and pass, and we do get access to Hornet Drones, which does allow us to play our cards. We're going to use the Hornet Drones to make a token, which we're going to link into Kagari, which I believe lets me grab back Engage. Yes, and our opponent is going to Forbidden Droplet Kagari. Yeah, this was a brutal game against Tistina so far, I'm not going to lie. But I do go ahead and just link off the Kagari because it just doesn't have that much attack. So I'm going to go back into the Hayate. Hayate is going to swing in for 1500, allowing us to pitch a Ray because I just don't really know what to get rid of from this position. I kind of want something to do. So we're going to go into the Shizuku. Shizuku is going to grab us a card, which is going to be the Shark Cannon. I think I was just kind of running out of things to grab here. And Shark Cannon does allow us to banish a card from the graveyard and put it on our side of the board, so maybe we can do some nonsense there, but our opponent just sees the writing on the wall, and they disconnect from the game. What a wild game against a wild archetype. Alright, folks, and for our last game with Sky Strikers, we are yet again going second with 2 Imperms and 2 Afterburners. Not the best hand. Our opponent is on Dark Magician. They're going to Magician's Rod. I'm going to immediately Imperm the hell out of that. It is one of the best targets to Imperm against Dark Magician. As our opponent, using a normal-sized deck, is going to go into the Illusion of Chaos. I do have another Imperm if I need it, but I'm probably not going to get value out of it. It's fine. Our opponent's going to put a card back. They're going to use the Magician's Souls to ditch the Dark Magician Girl. They're going to link up both of their monsters to go into Verte Anaconda. Using Verte's ability, they're going to pay 2,000, ditch their Red Eyes Fusion, and I'm going to Imperm the hell out of their Verte Anaconda. No Dragoon for you, get that nonsense out of here. And now they don't even have access to it anymore, and I have an Afterburners for their Verte and their back row, so I feel pretty confident here. I'm going to go and use the Afterburners to, actually my bad, just Afterburners for Verte. I can't pop back row because I only have 1 spell right now. We're going to use Ray in the battle phase after swinging in with her to swing in with Hayate. We're going to use Hayate to ditch Engage. Main phase 2, we're going to ditch Hayate for everyone's favorite, Kagari. Kagari puts back the Engage, which allows us to keep grinding our opponent out of this. We're going to use the Engage, not get full value out of it, but we're going to grab the Shark Cannon. I grabbed Shark Cannon instead of a Widow Anchor, I should say, which is typically what you grab, because I'm afraid of them putting Dark Magician into the graveyard and trying to special summon it with something like Eternal Soul. So Shark Cannon allows me to get rid of that nonsense. We're going to go into the Shizuku from here. Setting the Shark Cannon and passing, we have an Ash Blossom and an Afterburners and a Hornet Drones for follow-up. I'm feeling pretty confident, and this is generally how Sky Striker games go. You're just going to punish your opponent as much as you can. Our opponent is going to try and Magician's Rod. Again, we're going to Ash Blossom this. They are going to Eternal Soul here, which doesn't do anything right now. They can't special summon off of it. They're going to go ahead and use the Magician's Rod for a XYZ of Superstar Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis. Evil Zeus. They're going to use Evil Zeus to put the Shizuku back into my deck. I'm going to go ahead and use the Shark Cannon to just kind of get rid of one of their Magician's Rods. I think I was doing this to try to give myself a body too, just in case, but I don't think I have spells. So it's fine. I'm going to go and use Ray's ability to protect my life points. We're going to use Ray's ability as soon as they attack with Typhon. I'm going to go ahead and use the Kaina to stop the battle phase. No life point damage for you. And this is just kind of like the reason Kaina's in the deck. She's not that great, but she does have a little bit of use. So from here, we have Linkage, Afterburner, since pretty good nonsense. I'm going to use the Afterburners to pop the Typhon and a Super Poly, which doesn't do much against us again. But our opponent sees the writing on the wall. No Dragoon, no Typhon, no chance, and they get on out of here. All right. Turn off the Afterburners. Our duty with Sky Strikers is done. And with those games out of the way, our time with Sky Strikers comes to a temporary close. I'm not gonna lie, I like this deck far more than I wanted to admit. This deck is super cool. It is far more engaging than I thought it was going to be, just trying to figure out what cards to play to get to the answers you need is very exciting with this deck. It does a lot of the things that I like to do with Trap Tracks, but on a lot more of a proactive level instead of a reactive level, which can be very, very powerful, especially with some of the crazy link plays you can do. So I will undoubtedly come back with Sky Strikers. I'm probably going to wait until I have at least the board and hopefully one of the alt arts, because I do really want to try to get that, because I do want to revisit this deck, because I do really like linking the women together. So thank you for tuning in, folks. I've been the Ghost with Knife. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you do have any recommendations or like things I can do to be a better Sky Striker deck player, go ahead and leave a comment. I do want to improve with this deck, and I do try to read all of my comments and get just out there and try to interact with my community. I'm trying to get back more into the YouTube thing. I know I've been away for quite a bit, but I'm trying to get back into it. So again, thank you for tuning in, folks. I've been the Ghost with Knife. Now do me a favor and get the hell out of here.